Good day everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new video, and today I want to tell you some tips and tricks about the consumables and abilities in the new Steel Hunter game mode. As I finished the game mode yesterday with 37 games and 10 wins, it should have been 11 but I got very unlucky. I think it is a good time to now try and share my knowledge I gained through all those games. And well, I guess it is the best thing to just straight up dive in and start with the consumables, going from left to right on your keyboard with the number 3 being the Turbocharger. So the Turbocharger is, in my opinion, a pretty solid consumable. It's not the best one, but it's a pretty solid one, and it's one which can genuinely help you get out of a tough situation. The Turbocharger's ability in short is that you get 29% more engine power and top speed for 15 seconds. And you have a cooldown of 30. And as it is a consumable, you have to find it in those consumable, what they call consumable spots, which are green. Well, the Turbocharger, in my opinion, I use it quite often, most of the time to just get away. Because, well, you don't really want to stay still or get screwed over by somebody because you are standing still at one position, obviously. And other than that, I also sometimes use it to just sometimes hunt somebody down, a straggler or one low HP guy, etc, etc. The problem with the Turbocharger, in my opinion, is that it has limited use. Like, you can use it here and there, but it's not as potent as others are. Plus, if you're playing the Russian Red Dawn tank and you didn't upgrade your hull yet, be prepared to either flip yourself or turn yourself 180 degrees. Like, it's genuinely annoying how ridiculous this tank's movement is. Like, with the Turbocharger, it happened to me way too often. I was driving up a hill, I turned in and I started to slide, and suddenly I was facing this way, facing into the face of my enemies. And that is no bueno. That is actually very, very, very annoying, and it shouldn't happen, you know. But yeah, what can you do? Generally, what can you do? On to the next one, which is the repair kit. Honestly, do we have to talk about it a lot? It's on your number 4, it repairs all your modules if they are damaged, and that's about it. There's not much else to say to this, isn't it? And the repair kit is still of good use. Just one thing I genuinely want to say for you guys is, even if you're burning, wait until the burn is over, because otherwise, for example, in the middle of the burn, you start to use repair kit. Sometimes you will keep on burning until the full burn duration is gone. But then again, you might be damaging your fuel tanks, might be damaging your ammo rack, etc, etc. It happened to me as well that I just kind of panicked and used the repair kit, but it's a very, 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 very bad idea. Please keep your composure. That if you're burning, wait until the burn is fully gone and then use the repair kit so you can repair everything. And also something important is, because I personally usually have the repair kit on number 5, because then I can do double 5 to repair my tracks. Here it is on number 4, so keep that in mind, because all those tanks, except for the last couple of tanks, don't have HE rounds. But then again, there's not much else to say about this, so let's move on to the next one, which is target tracking. Target tracking is, in my opinion, the best, like genuinely the best consumable when it comes to fighting, because not only does it increase your aim speed and your gun handling, but also it increases your reload time, meaning you have a better DPM. And it's absolutely amazing when you are in a 1v1 situation, or even just hunting down somebody, because when you're hunting down someone, you usually will want to shoot and move, because they're moving and they're running away. Run away! Like they are your little prey thingy. So you decide to go hunt them down like the good predator you are, the good hunter you are. So then you will need this better gun stabilization on the move, and target tracking is doing wonders for that. It goes on for 20 seconds, which is a pretty decent time, but it also has a 30 seconds cooldown, which is not that great. A thing which is very, very cool about it is that, for example, I personally tend to go, for example, on the German side, or with the Flammenschwert, I usually go for the Pantherhole, for the E50 turret, and then for the auto-reloader gun. The same goes for the Russian tank. It makes a lot more fun when you have this flexibility. And there, for example, when you have no consumable whatsoever active, if you're fully loaded, your first shot needs 6 seconds to reload. If you're using target tracking, this goes down to 4. And you have 3 seconds in the clip reload. So basically you just wait 1 more seconds and you have a full clip again. Like, that is ridiculous, and it has a huge kill pressure. Like, seriously, it's amazing. It's genuinely amazing what you can do with target tracking, and this is why I think this is probably the most potent consumable in the game mode. And it's, if you have it, you have a great chance at winning your 1v1s. One thing I just wanted to point out, which I kind of forget about the 1v1s, I also kind of use Turbocharger during the 1v1s because it's generally just good to have increased mobility, especially in the early stages of the game where you, for example, are playing against the Flammenschwert and you don't have any good gun yet. It is freaking amazing when you can outmaneuver him, just get around his side, shoot into the fuel tank, shoot the engine, shoot the ammo rack, etc, etc, etc. It makes life so much easier because usually when you are not a Flammenschwert, you have very hard time penetrating him frontally. The only real point to penetrate is its cupola and its turret ring, which is like, I'm doing my throat now because this would be my turret here with the cupola and here the turret ring. I don't know. I don't know. I'm tired and I'm sick, as you might hear. So yeah, let's just improvise, don't we? So on to the last consumable, which is recovery. And generally recovery is amazing. I kind of made a mini mistake here. I talked first about target tracking rather than recovery, but recovery is on your number 5 number, and it's amazing. It has a 30-second cooldown, but it repairs a specific amount of percentage of your HP in 7 seconds. But you have to be so careful when to use it. When you are in a firefight and you use it until you get shot at by the enemy, you are done so. It is important to note, as soon as you use recovery and it has 7 seconds of time going, and if you get hit in between those 7 seconds, it immediately cuts off. So for example, it is running for 3 seconds and then you get damaged, it's gone. You don't get those 4 extra seconds. It's gone. You lose it. And this is so important, especially in the lower tier times. You have such a long reload time. You have around 7 seconds reload time. So for example, if you're in a firefight in the early stages of the game where nobody has yet tier 5, I can 100% certainly tell you guys, please wait until the enemy shot and then use recovery, because then you will most likely get all the time out of it and you will surprise your enemy by how much HP just recovered. If the enemy is doing this on your face and you're like, damn it, why is he doing this? Ramming speed, ram him, try to damage him somehow. If you are able to damage him, that's perfect. Because then you are going to interrupt his recovery and it's going on cooldown and he doesn't get the full 7 seconds of recovery time. Like genuinely recovery is so potent, but it's so hard to use because you always are like, oh no, I'm in a firefight, I have to use it, I'm low on HP, but then again you can't really use it then and then because the enemy probably has a shot ready and is going to interrupt it. Or for example, when you're burning and you're using it out of panic, it's completely wasted, which is incredible bad. So things so forth. And if you're using it and you're getting rammed, again, my thing about recovery is it's a very cool tool, but please keep in mind that if you're getting shot at during the recovery time, it immediately cuts off and you lose it. Okay? That's important. And when you are in a firefight, when you're in a 1v1, wait until the enemy shot. Obviously, if you're not a one-shot. Then immediately use it. Just like, rather take 1 second of your DPM and wait until he shot to immediately use it and to recover all those lost HPs. But don't get rammed. But yeah, those were the consumables. Let's move on to these abilities. The first ability which we have today is the Airstrike. It has a 45 seconds cooldown and it stuns enemy vehicles and causes damage to them with bombs explosion in the selected area. It's important to note, if you're coming from frontline, you might be surprised how quickly it flies in. It just takes 3 seconds compared to the 5 seconds of frontline, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good thing to use, but generally it is so ridiculously RNG dependent, and I'm not joking. I use it here and there, and sometimes I do 1k damage, and sometimes I do 100 damage. And sometimes when the enemy uses on me, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but then again, he suddenly burns me, or he ammo racks me for full HP. It was a pity because I wanted to win this game, it was a 1v1 and I would have had him. But he ammo racks me for 1 full HP. Trust me, I wasn't a happy Raptor after all. I was genuinely pissed off, and when I saw that he had 260 WN8, I kind of went through the roof. But that's beside the point. I usually use the Airstrike to either hold down 2 people, which are like in a platoon game, or when I know that somebody is going for example, for spoils of war, or for an airdrop, because as soon as they're getting damaged, well, the timer goes down again, and they don't get XP, they don't get the repairs, etc, etc, etc. So the Airstrike is a very potent thing to use. It also obviously stuns the enemy for around 12 seconds, and we all know stuns are really, really annoying to deal with and make you all so slow. And they are also crippling your DPM, turn time. It's like an archery stun. You know what I'm talking about, guys. It's genuinely good to use also in a 1v1 situation, because then you can just stun the enemy and you have a huge advantage against him, because there is nothing to do against stun. There's no repair, there's no medkit to counter it. Important thing is though, if you are in a 1v1 with an enemy and you're using your Airstrike, keep in mind that you are also going to get stunned. I'm not entirely sure if you're also getting damaged, but yeah, I might have to test this. If you know it, please let me know in the comment section below. But Airstrike, it's good in 1v1s, but keep in mind that you can also get stunned by it. So now let's move on to the next ability, which is the recovery zone. The recovery zone is like the, the recovery on steroids, because even if you're getting shot at, it doesn't care, it's going to repair you. It's not as fast, I think, but it also takes longer. It has 12 seconds of use and 45 seconds of cooldown. Plus it's a zone, so everything around you also gets healed, except for the enemy. Thank God, because that would be very, 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 very annoying. Honestly, recovery zone, again, use it when you are in a firefight in your teammate, in platoon mates. Use it when you know that your allies are a little bit on the low side of HP. And just use it in general when you are in a 1v1 and you can't use recovery. But if you're using recovery zone and you use recovery, my goodness gracious, you are gaining tons of HP back, which can really catch your enemy off guard, which is amazeballs when it happens. But other than that, recovery zone, there's not much else to say about it, except for use it when you are in a firefight and you know you can't really use recovery, or recovery is on a cooldown. It's a really potent thing, and it can catch an ally off guard, because again, it has 12 seconds of continuous HP repairing. But the next ability is also pretty interesting, and that's the trap. The trap is, I first thought it would be like a area around you which also stuns the enemy, but that's not the case. It is a temporary zone in which enemy tanks are slowed down by 33%. And this is very, 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 very cool if you want to lay down an airstrike, or if you want to flank the enemy, to burn him, etc, etc, etc. But keep in mind, don't panic. Yes, it is on your 9 key, so it's kind of hard to reach, but don't panic and use it when you are not up and close and personal to the enemy. Because again, this zone, it is around you. As soon as you use it, it gets set down, and the middle point is around you, and if you run away, it just stays there for the next 15 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I have to quickly check that again. Yeah, for 15 seconds. So it's very, very good to use when you are in a 1v1, when you're really close and you want to outflank the enemy. For example, the enemy has the VKA hole, which is pretty strong frontally, so you just lay this down and make his mobility go to poop. So you can just flank him easily, get to his side, or even use it, for example, when you're running away. You're running away, you just slap it down and the enemy has to drive through it, loses 33% mobility. It's a really, really good thing to use, but it's kind of situational to use. But it's not it's not bad. Not like the last one, the smoke screen. Because the smoke screen, I don't know, it's fucking useless. Like, sorry for the language, but it is as it is. Just look at my keyboard. Look at this glorious Corsair keyboard. Kappa no sponsoring. Here is the 9 button, you know. That's a whole lot away, because usually we are here, so we get 3, 4, and 5, which is pretty decent. 6, ooh, is a little bit far away. 7, 8, and 9, ooh, and then on number 10, or excuse me, 0. Yeah, there is your smoke screen. And not only does the smoke screen barely do anything, well, you can use it to hide your allies or hide your retreat, but it's very, very annoying to use, because not only do you have to place it where you want to use it, you also have to say in what angle and like how it's being placed from the rotation angle. And just makes it to be used very, very inconvenient, especially when you're not used to it. So I genuinely didn't use smoke screen at all. Like, I probably used it 1 time, but that about it. Or 2 times, maybe. The problem is with the smoke screen, if you're running away from an enemy, it's better to just do the rabbit and just to go left, right, doing rather than just driving straight and trying to lay down the smoke screen. Yes, it is good because you can use it to hide your retreat, because in Steel Hunter you are being spotted for like 1 second or something, and then you're gone again if you're not continuously in the sight of the enemy. But other than that, no, it's really not useful. Like, I hardly ever used it in my 37 games, I think. 37 games and 10 victories. But yeah, that sums it up, and I think, or I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if so, leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video, feel free to leave me some feedback, well, I'm sorry for that. If you're wondering why I sound so shitty, I'm still sick. You might also see my red nose because I'm constantly blowing it. But yeah. Thank you so much, and if you love my dedication, again, feel free to leave a sub. And well, next video will be about some tips and tricks in general about Steel Hunter. Thank you so much for watching, and cheers, guys.